supplies, they gotta see it.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff right here we going through, this is the dumbest shit in the world to me, Elder.
Dang. Hey, when I studied the clan mother stuff, I put the clan mother tape out. I see that the clan mother had a spokesman. Like Big Mama had a spokesman. And
Always.
I was saying that Whack 100 to me, he fit that description. Like he fit the description of one of the Red House spokesmen. Like how he be talking, how he be saying stuff.
I don't want to talk about him.
You know, like Whack because the big U thing, right?
Nope. It got nothing to do with Big U. I don't
Why you don't like Whack?
Nope, I can't talk about Whack. I'd rather talk about Charleston White.
What about Charleston White? Charleston White is a spokesman for Big Mama?
Well, all of us is in one way or another.
Go ahead.
We either speaking up to make changes, or we speaking up to bring awareness to a certain topic or issue. So we all end up being our spokespersons. But some of us is the spokesperson for the enemy, and I don't want to give them no glory.
Go ahead. So you're saying Whack is he worked for the police. He police. Like Val, what's the name of it? Jumpman and all them.
Listen.
We go to the next question.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
My next question that we have for you, brother. Now, being that the killer clowns, they defact on, they liquidating all the assets. It seems like they pretty much but the cops seem like the cops still treating Nubians. They still out here, and I see the Nubians handled it in another way. They ain't being aggressive with the cops. They're like, man, hey, what you doing? Like, are you like you see what you doing? It's like the cops are doing a same intimidation tactics to Nubians, right? Like they pulling brothers over, want to pull them out the car and just treating. But a lot of brothers now know their rights. They know more about what's it ain't like it used to be back in the day where brothers didn't know what was going on. Brothers know about Fifth Amendment. Brothers know about all these rights. So why do you think the police is getting more still running the same thing? And we know a lot of police is de facto because we don't even got police down here no more. We don't got nothing but sheriffs. But why do you think the police is cranking up, still going? It seems like to me it's only Pacific people within the force that's doing it. But why do you think that they still running this intimidation tactic on Nubians when they pull them over, man?
Well, the same reason the bully keep bullying the kids on the playground, to somebody come along and stop them. See, if we was in our proper jurisdictional rollout, wherever you see somebody that got a police uniform and badge on, the sheriff supposed to arrest them for impersonating law enforcement.
Go ahead.
The sheriff not supposed to tolerate any police force on his jurisdictional land. The police are masquerading as law enforcement. They not the law enforcement. They policy enforcers. They enforce policies of a corporation. The only elected official in law enforcement in any geography on this land, you got two. One is your sheriff,
right?
And the other one is your United States Marshal, who can he's appointed, but he's appointed by an elected official who's given the jurisdictional authority to appoint him.
Go ahead.
Every police is masquerading as law enforcement or imitating. They all in violation of United States Code 1984.
They foreigners.
Dressing up under the color of law to intimidate the people of the land. And all of them don't. So they start thinking that by choosing people from the land to put on the force, they think that they give us the illusion that they legitimate. But they handbook and protocols and they charters all that come from London, England.
Right.
And as long as we don't know that, they gonna keep doing what even the ones of us that do have an idea, like how long the Rise of the Moors been locked up?
A while.
See, they know law.
Yeah, they know the law. They supposed to know it. Like they
don't know enough to get out of that hucklebuck though. They still got to hire a bar member.
That's crazy, man.
Right?
Like, why do they do the moves like that though? The moves
It's
be on
war.
point.
It's war. See, they don't think that if you calling yourself a Moor, they think that you only think you know who you is and you don't really know.
Yeah.
And they about right. You almost there, but you stay in one school a little bit too long,
Exactly.
and you a perpetual sixth grader now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. You ain't got to university or college, so they're going to treat you like the imbecile in law that they assume you is because you know just enough to be dangerous to yourself and others.
Go ahead.
And you got to remember, they only got jurisdiction over minors.
Right? Or
Let that sink in.
that's right. And you're incompetent. If you're a minor, they say you're incompetent.
Incompetent. Yep.
You don't know enough. You don't know enough to defend yourself. You pretty much a retard. They pretty much saying you retarded, and we gotta talk. We gotta speak for you because you're a retard. You know what I'm saying? You because it's like an old person that's got Alzheimer's, so they really ain't all they don't remember. You know, their mind ain't all the way there, so they gotta need somebody to speak for them. They call that not a trustee. What they call it? Not an attorney. What they call it? Power of attorney. So you need a power of attorney. You sign the bar up to the bar, the British accreditation registration. Yes,
So,
they all British.
all of that is organized fraud. They the biggest mob on the land. They the biggest mafia on the land.
Right.
Look, what blew the lid off of it, a lot of people don't remember when the police chief from LA came out and said, try me if you want to. I got the biggest gang in the country and we got chapters in every city.
What?
I forgot his name. I think his last name was Gates or Getz.
Yeah, you talking about the same dude that was doing operation? It was like the 80s, 83, 85.
Yeah, but he made that statement around the time of the Rodney King situation.
The Rodney King happened at 90 something, 92.
Yeah.
93. Yeah.
9091.
Yeah, I did a tape on this guy. I know you talking about Gates. He came right to the guy that's that was involved in recruiting them guys from Mississippi to come up there from the Ku Klux Klan to come up there and be police in the LA police department.
You know, he was a Negro.
Who Gates?
Yeah, whatever. I can't remember his name. Somebody gonna put it in the chat.
Ain't never been no chief of police in LA that been black. I mean, during the 80s and 90s.
Daryl Gates, I think was his name. Yeah, Daryl Gates.
He a brother. That ain't no brother. Daryl Gates ain't no brother unless he was light skinned. I got pictures of him in my file. Daryl Gates is a white dude.
The dude that was saying it in the press conference, he was melanated.
Oh yeah, well he probably wasn't Daryl Gates because Daryl Gates was the chief of police of LA during that time of Rodney King. I remember because it came up in the Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington file. I remember him. And before him, all them cats was Ku Klux Klan. Daryl Gates is Ku Klux Klan, that guy. Unless you're talking about the other guy, the guy that was infiltrating, that was undercover police working for Crash, and it's another guy named Derek something, and he was a black guy, and he was the one that was infiltrating all the Crip sets and starting wars with the other clans. Going to have a shootout.
Yeah, you can't even look it up now. First thing when you type in LA, the only thing coming up is Big U.
Yeah, but you can go watch that. You can go watch that Tookie Williams tape I put out. I got pictures of that dude, Daryl Gates, in that video. And
it was one of them. It was one of them Negroes. Might have been a lieutenant, but it was one of them Negroes. But it was a message directly from the chief.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
And he was calling out gangbangers. See, we don't, like, for instance, the word gang mean tribe. But if you tell somebody that, they look at you like you're crazy because they never did the definition of the word. They never looked it up.
Right.
So they don't know that gang mean tribe. So for the purposes of the war, when you can influence the meaning of a word from its original usage to an alternative usage, like the word nigga wasn't always derogatory, and it wasn't always a term of endearment. It went through a phase.
Right.
Where it was what you call a passive word as negro.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then with Southern drawl to it and the way that the usage of the word, it became nagger.
Yeah.
Right? Then it became derogatory when it became applied to the people in a negative manner. Then, if you read Richard Wright, Black Boy, he tell you that they used to call each other nigga so they could show how hard they was and that the word don't hurt them like it do their elders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the culture, the way that we do stuff, anything that's damaging us, we try to figure out how to turn that damage into something that we can prosper from.
Right.
You know, and it found its niche in the hip hop music. When you go to hip hop, when you go to early hip hop, Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Flash, and wasn't none of them saying nigga in the song. Matter of fact, you don't hear your first national nigga song until you hear from a group called Niggas with Attitude.
Right. NWA.
But the whole purpose was that is to show you the power that LA had over the rest of the country. We didn't know LA was culturally as important as it is. And the people in LA are ancient tribes, and they knew they value to each other, but they didn't know they value to the rest of their people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start putting out a gang like NWA, then you have different groups of people following suit. Right? The first person that was shooting 100 niggas in the song was Cool G Rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first gangster rapper was Cool G Rap. Most of us don't know that. Most of us think that gangster rap just spontaneously popped up in the mid 90s, and Cool G Rap was doing that all the way back in the early 80s.
Go ahead.
Right? All he wanted to talk about was putting this steel on your ass.
Right.
You know? Right, huh? Yeah, he's the original gangster who decided to write raps.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Cool G, BGF, Blood Oath for life. But a lot of people don't know that some of them West Coast artists was the first ones using the music as the cover for them, like E40.
Uh-huh.
Used music as a cover to connect chiefs behind the scenes all over the country.
Yeah, I can see that. E40.
You know what I'm saying? He was doing
L40 water. L40 water.
He was doing it. 40 water is a code. His name is a code.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the only way to see through the water with 20/20 vision is you got to stack your lenses.
Go ahead.
40 water.
Go ahead. That makes sense.
I see clear through the water. Piscean age coming to a close. You know? It's so much to us as a culture that's more than us as an individual from any part of the land.
Right.
You know? Most of us don't know Posse on Broadway, Mix-a-Lot. He from Portland, Oregon, some damn where. We thinking he from New York or Philly or something. He from all the way up there in Oregon.
Yeah.
You know? And he was a very, very powerful influence, because when you start watching his moves and the people he was hanging out with from his area, he was making stuff happen throughout his community under the cover of music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He figured it out when he got, what's the man say? The white boy, people think he funny. He a real estate investor who makes a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Because he was using the one of his guys as the face for his real estate market, but he ain't gonna tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they gonna think my man die hard loyal. That's why he in that position. He ain't trying to run away with the bag. He's trying to make the bag bust open because there's so much in it. And that's the difference between us and the hood versus when we start dealing with those lighter complexion people. I call them the mulatto group now because most of them passing. But one of the things that's different about their experience is they understand the value of working together to accomplish a goal. Everybody get to eat at the end, except we think that whoever is in running the mission, that he the only one can eat. You know, it wasn't until Big Meat started showing the brothers how to live with wealth, right, that the youngsters start figuring it out.
Right.
I stayed mad at Jeezy for a long time until one of the chiefs told me the code. If your ship burned and you send out a life raft, don't call it back for help because you're going to sink that one too.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sitting there looking at it, and then I started watching his moves. I said, okay, he's following his training. If his training wasn't good, he can't make it.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to apologize for not seeing him for who he was, but seeing him for who the system wanted him represented as. It's a whole difference, you know. So when he first came out, I didn't mess with him at all. Now I can bump all this stuff because I know his angle and I know why he had to move how he had to move when BMF fell.
You think that? I was going to ask you. Do you think that that when Big Meech got it, was supposed to get released, that the COINTELPRO FBI ran the same tactic they did with Larry Hoover, where they put out the rumor that he was snitching? You think that was a rumor that the feds put out, or was Big Meech really snitching, or did he really work with Tammy?
Listen, I was in prison for 16 years.
Go ahead.
I never seen somebody cooperate and do their whole bit.
Yeah, do 20. Yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead.
I never seen that before. I'm serious. Yeah. I never seen somebody cooperate and then do their whole bit.
Yeah.
Right. I done seen people roll over facing trial and end up with 30 years instead of life. But I've never seen a person that was actively doing their bit and
still do the whole bit.
And still do the whole bit. Because normally what happened is you come in, you get your time, dude get to a certain point, I can't take it no more. Got to find a way out. And then they see so-and-so they know still out there getting them. They was an enemy anyway. Right? So now they work with him to get him. Then they say, okay, now you go back to court and you get 11 years, 20 years took off your sentence. Yeah. I've never seen somebody that's already doing their bit decide to cooperate and then do the whole bit.
Yeah, right.
I never seen it.
He ain't getting nothing out the deal, really.
Now, in this modern age, I can't say it's impossible because people do some weird shit sometimes. Yeah. But I never personally seen it. It's beyond my experience to somebody cooperate to do their whole bit.
Yeah.
Also, I never seen somebody that knows somebody a snitch, that somebody else been calling them a snitch, conceal this person until it's convenient for their economics to call them a snitch publicly. Yeah. I never seen that before. That's some new shit to me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a bunch of it could be, but I tell you this, I have not heard that Meech sat on no stand or wrote no statements.
Yeah.
Still. So whatever the lady might have been like, she might have been sweet on Meech.
Yeah.
She could have made deals without his knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there. But I've seen women of guys doing life bits do some strange things to get him back into court.
Yeah.
I done seen him seduce judges, seduce prosecutors, you know, have babies by these people at the same time they're trying to get their guy out of prison.
Yeah.
I done seen it. I done seen all of that. I had one old head tell me they had cut his life bit to like 28 years. And he told me that he gonna take care of that baby that she had by that judge like it was his firstborn. He said he don't give a damn about that because he would have never had that opportunity had she not slept with that judge.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, where do you draw the line at on somebody trying to help somebody else?
Right.
You know, and the hardest people to help is the ones with what you call a contract on their head. When somebody put a price tag on your head, it's almost impossible to help them, especially for some real money.
Yeah.
You know, in the hood, you can get people that do them $100 hits, some $1,000 hits, crack rock hits. They already gonna go to prison.
Yeah.
Most of them get caught.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about 50,000, 100,000, $250,000 to take you out, now you talking about a whole different group of hitters.
Yeah.
And it's hard to protect somebody from them kind of hitters.
Right.
Don't let them be somebody that get up to $500,000 mark. You know, it's difficult to save that person from getting hit by the hitter that's coming. Because you ain't gonna know when he gonna come or how he gonna come. So once you discover it's a hit on somebody, you supposed to put them out of the mix. Fake their death if you have to.
Yep. Machiavelli in this. All through your body. Blows like
you
a 12
have to worry. You could ride with me now.
Yeah.
Niggas quick to scream how they die for me now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a guy that I like, man. What I've been on this guy for the last. I always liked this guy, but I've been on him hard for like the last couple of days. That Nas be saying some stuff in his raps, man. Like he different from everybody else. Nas.
You don't even know who Nas is. Nas he one of the ancient princes of the land.
Go ahead.
That's Nasir mean the light.
Go ahead.
And he supposed to get right where he at now. All of the people that's about something that's right that want to get in, they got to get the rub from Nas. But if you in there strictly for the money, you got to get the rub from Jigga.
I noticed Nas, well, he moved different. He moved real different than all the other rappers. Like
he got the rub from the real Roxanne. Grew up over there with him in the Queensbridge. One of the great. That's what make Nas so important because who he get the rub by.
Go ahead.
Right, he get the rub by the mother of hip hop, Sylvia. He get the rub by one of the first female MCs that won battle raps against dudes. She the hands down the Big Mama rap. You know, Sylvia was the first. Sugar Hill was the first hip hop record label dedicated to putting out hip hop music. So Nas was able to sit with her and get the rub from Roxanne. He's destined for greatness at that point. Then his father was an old-time jazz musician.
Right. That's right.
So now he getting the rub off the fatherland from it's already in the blood to the love from the motherland. Talking about keep watch the story, his story. You gonna show her what was that show? It was a show on, and she told Nas, she said, keep practicing. It was her story. Keep practicing, you're gonna be great.
Well, you listen to Nas lyrics, boy. To me, Nas better than Tupac. Like as far as they really can't be compared to each other.
Now you about to start a fight.
Tupac was more revolutionary.
Now you about to start a fight.
Tupac was more of a revolutionary than his rap, but
now you about to start it. Now you about to start a fight.
Nas be saying some. Nas be talking about Empress. I mean, say Empress get a cheaper man. That boy, man, you listen to his rhymes. It's just, I like Nas. Nas is my favorite rapper. I like Nas.
Everybody entitled to have their favorite.
Yeah, I like Nas.
Everybody entitled to have their favorite.
Ooh, na, 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 la, 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 la. I like that. All
You
that when
know,
he did with DJ Khaled.
Tupac in my top 5, but he not my favorite.
Yeah, Tupac. I like Tupac. He in my top 5.
My all-time favorite when I first heard him, I couldn't stop listening.
Who?
How you say? Pick up the mic and add a cigar. Man, I forgot the song. How it start?
Yeah, One Mic.
Oh, that was cold. That One Mic was wicked. That One Mic was follow me into a solo, get in the flow, and you can picture like a photo. Music mix mellow, maintain to make melodies for MCs, know to break the breaks, some never last, and I can go on for days and days of rhyme displays that engrave deep as x-rays. I could take a phrase that's rarely heard, flip it. Now it's a deadly word. I could get iller than all my killing and bomb with no alarm. Rock him, I remain calm.
Hey, Rakim got some flow too, though. Rakim up there with see, he come in that same line with Nas and them. All them boys up there.
He changed rhyme patterns when he came.
Yeah.
He changed because remember, when you listen to early hip hop, Curtis Blow, they only was concerned about the rhyme pattern matching up at the end of the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
When Rakim came in, he was what they call to that. He was making rhymes with the beginning of the sentence to this sentence, with the middle of the sentence to this sentence, and the last one in this sentence to the first one. And he was putting it down. He changed the way people write rhymes. And the only person that was even close was Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy go hard too. Most of the people was imitating Rakim. Like a lot of the guys that came out, they was imitating the Rakim flow. But then I'm gonna tell you another guy that got some flow though. That people that that's Big L. Big L. Like I believe Jay-Z. I don't like Jay-Z like that. Like Jay-Z got some. His name is blown up big. But to me, if you listen to Jay-Z, stole rhymes from everybody. Like, but Big L was the guy.
Well, when Jay-Z came up, they was making the transition from where you wasn't allowed to bite another MC's style or lyrics to where you was quoting MCs. So like in order for you to not be biting, you'd be like, "In my man, nah, I said," you know what I mean? And then you could say his bars without it being biting because you gave him his credit. Right. But then when people know my Sycamore style much more sicker than yours, we don't know if it's Jay-Z or if it's Biggie. Who said it first?
Right.
If you don't know who said it first, I can use it.
Right.
That's the era of hip hop that Jay-Z came up. If you don't remember, you know what I'm saying, Biggie saying it and then Jay-Z said it, that's not considered biting in his era.
Yeah. But they got, man, they already caught Jay-Z stealing everybody rhymes. They got a whole tape with Jay-Z where they play somebody that said it first.
I seen it.
Yeah. They got Jay-Z fighting everybody. But mainly he was fighting
but
Big L.
You know, his claim to fame or his legacy not gonna be music. His legacy gonna be the business behind the music.
Right. I can see that. I can see that.
Because he was able to branch out in so many different directions.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So how he did his music, ain't nobody gonna remember in 20 years that that 80%, 60%, 40%, whatever percent of his rhymes he took from somebody else, the posterity not gonna remember that. They're gonna remember that he made business moves that got him to a billionaire status club.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's facts. That's facts. Hey man, well we at that 2-hour mark. Hey y'all want to show Rod some love? We got 1,500 people on. Everybody send him $1, man. If you want to send him more, that'll work too. He don't do it for the money, but we show him some love so we can keep this going. Hey, we got to take a couple questions from the crowd, man. Y'all drop some questions in the chat, man. See what we got. Hey, we got Rod, but so what do you think? So where are we at so far as the this switch of like the government. We know Trump liquidating everything. They count all the money, making sure it's all there. So what do you see? I mean, that's what I was going to ask you about the foreigners. I think I already asked you about the foreigners coming over and running everything, getting all they all in the stores. But I see a lot of them selling their businesses now, going back to their country. A lot of foreigners since Trump got in office. The dude that used to work for, he sold his company.
What's going to have a bigger effect on those markets is what China is doing with luxury items that they've been making the whole time. So you put Louis Vuitton made in France on his bag, it just went up from $10 to $10,000 just that quick, right? So that's going to be a devastating blow to a lot of manufacturers or distributors of those type of goods. So that's going to have a trickle down effect. You know, you gotta look at everything cause and effect, right? And to he say, remember not that I have told you, we are cycles within cycles. For to break the cycle, you must see the beginning of the next cycle at the end of the prior cycle. To liberate the mind is to liberate the soul, for it is the soul that is eternal. And the body is infinite. I mean, it's finite. Right? It is the soul that'll carry you from age to age. Know that reincarnation is a fact. Right? And for each gateway that opens, you must close the gateway that you came through before you open the next, lest chaos rush back in upon you.
Go ahead. Makes sense.
Right? So one thing has to finish before the next thing start. We are here at the close of the age to usher in the old age exit and the new age entrance. By definite marks, you mark the cycle for the return in order to know when to jump the matrix. Jumping the matrix is shifting the timeline. And to shift the timeline is relying upon the collective to consciously be aware that they want to shift to their best life scenario on the greatest timeline. Right? No one man can change the destiny of all, but all can change the destiny of one man in the blink of an eye. For what you know in your heart to be true, conceal it not, for what you see in this world is falsehood manifest. Release the truth in the heart to liberate the souls of the righteous so that righteousness reigns upon the earth. We come not to honor thieves, murderers, and robbers, but to overthrow their regime and raise our children to be love, kind, and compassionate, givers and receivers of good things. For all is within a cycle. That which you put out returns back unto you. This is why it is written, plant thy good seed that you may reap the good fruit. Therefore, all GMO must go. Genetically modified organisms is not as good as the divinely devised organism. So what man seeks to accomplish of his own is not going to be greater than that which the mother has given. For all sustenance and nourishment comes from the mother, but all correction and guidance comes from the father. For we all want the nurturing, but we don't want the presence of the mother. But we all need the guidance, but we reject the presence of the father. So honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long, that you may live in the balance and harmony of might.
All right, go ahead.
The balance and the harmony comes with balancing your thoughts and your deeds with your manifest actions. Reach not for a man lest he reach back for you.
Go ahead.
All right. It's a two-way street. You have to know how to dance before you can tell which tune needs to be played.
Go ahead. Makes
so when
sense.
you call up on the DJ, have your selection at hand lest you delay the party from taking place.
Go ahead. To hold it.
And you all know how we like to party. Some of us even party like a rock star.
Right.
Right. But at the end, in all the combination of the deeds of man, you find that everybody gonna get exactly what they asked for. Ain't nobody escaping without paying for their dirt, and nobody gonna gain without putting in work.
Right.
Right. You can do a good thing in the name of wickedness, and you could do a wicked thing in the name of righteousness. But which one's going to reap the greater reward? Well, one causes you to lose your character, while other causes you to find it.
Go ahead.
Right. And to define the best man is the man that's best to fulfill his own purpose. For he who fulfills his purpose finds greatness at his doorstep. Slumber not, for the time is at hand, when the great mother shall arise and tell you who's the chosen man to carry us back to prosperity from the land.
Go ahead. Tahoti. Tahoti. Tahoti.
Damn, that stuff. Sometimes that shit be weirding me out because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, he jumped right in on you. Came right in on you. Signing out. Tahoti. We are the T's, and y'all are the rays. You know, the rays of the sun. Yeah, yep. The Tahuti part of the T's. That's the old. Yep. That's the older clan. The T's, the Rays, the Does, and the Doe. You know, John Doe. Nobody really know who them people is. John Doe and Jane Does. The Does. Those people.
They sound like dear to me.
Yeah, look, and look, and look, and look. They sound like dear to you, right? And they can pass. They can pass for them guys that look like us, but they ain't us.
Hey, and now you know why Bambi Mama got killed at the beginning of the movie.
There you go. There you have it. And on that note, like you can drop the mic and walk off stage because Tahuti just came in on that one. Everybody know that know Tahuti. You know what I'm saying? If you know Tahuti, you just know he just made his entrance at the last minute. He like to pull on buzzer beaters. He's a buzzer beater type of guy. You know what I'm saying? He like to put 3 seconds on the clock. Tahuti like them 3 seconds on the clock. He swoops. He dabs. He crosses him over. Well, he shoots. He scores. Right? That's that last minute shot on the clock. Tell you like Kobe, baby.
Yeah. So there's gonna be some big announcements coming soon. We're gonna watch and see what they be.
Oh yeah, we'll be back. Hey, we'll be back whenever you're ready, bro. You know, we gotta keep it moving. Non-stop action. Try to keep them babies informed. And on that note, like I said, y'all, we about to get up out of here. We kind of late, running late, but this was a good one. Thank you, Rod, for coming out. Hey, we're gonna send love and peace and love to all of y'all that came out to kick it with us tonight. Free Malachi Z. York, free Larry Hoover, free Jeff Ford, right? Free Rashard Jamal, free all the political prisoners or anybody that's claiming to be fighting on our behalf. You know, that's locked up.
Everybody locked up, political prisoners, some knowingly, some unknowingly.
Or prisoners of war, for better word.
That's what makes them political prisoners.
Right.
All POWs are prisoners of war. That's the difference in being a slave and a POW. Remember, before they had prisons, they had state farms. Before they had state farms, they had county farms. Before they had county farms, they had family farms. And all of that went through the plantation cycle in order for you to be deceived into believing that you came from somewhere else in bondage and chains in order to be the servant of somebody else that didn't even know how to wipe his own ass for me.
Right.
Make it make sense.
Go ahead.
So you gonna tell me some pale face gonna crawl out of the cave and conquer some Skywalkers, and ain't no Skywalkers invested in their conquest.
Go ahead.
But my elder told me that Yakub was so disillusioned with how these niggas acted that he decided that he was gonna pull something from you that was gonna bring the worst out you in order to get the best from you in the end. So he decided to graft his own devil. One that genetically inferior, but he's artificially pawned off as being superior.
That make more sense. The Yaku line make more sense than he came out the cave and now all of a sudden he your master. Come on, man.
You say it took him.
They took us with this stuff. They tell us, man. They took me.
Elijah said it took them 600 years to graft the devil. It'll take 600 to graft them back. Right.
Yeah.
How long was they in Europe? From 711 to 1492, then they came over here.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's over 700 years right there,
Yeah, makes sense.
right? And now, what's left? Graft them back. And already made them. Now
Yep.
they got to unmake them.
They mixed in with us already though. They got this
It's
one drop. Most
it's
of them.
the great debauchery. So, in order to get them back, you got to accelerate the process. You got to give them the blood of the original, and you gonna know because the physiology gonna change, the character gonna change, and they're gonna be entirely different people from the
Yep.
people that came.
That's right. And when you cut the music on, they probably can dance now. After that one drop, they might can cut a rug, or might can hold. They might be on beat after that.
Or, as my man Kango from UTFO said, I could sing, rap, dance in just one show because I'm Kango. I'm so sophisticated. As far as I know, ain't nobody greater from beginning to end and to the beginning. I never lose because I'm all about winning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And on that note, we out, man. We love you all. We send peace and love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.
I do.
Dang, 400 stoves? That's a lot.
Well,
Man,
we people, you know how the foreigners get in our neighborhood.
the Iranians, and it's a couple
Yeah.
more.
Now, if they don't bump straight, they're gonna get bumped off the board.
Yeah. They ain't playing no more now.
Yeah, it's a new sheriff in town.
I remember when Big Took in them when Monster Cody was telling the story, and because you talking about the outlaw tribes and how we were different, right? He said that he had went took in them and ramming them something to go get an egg sandwich, and he ate a little piece out the thing and brought it back. And then he gave it to Raymond, and Raymond said, "Hey, Took, man, ain't you ordered me an egg sandwich? Ain't no egg on this sandwich, right?" So he said, "Yeah, Monster Cody had ate a piece out of it, right?" So, but he ain't tell him, right? Tookie know Monster had ate it, but they went back. The whole Crip gang got together, went back down to where the Chinese that made the egg sandwich, and they took everything in the store, took all all their supplies, the cups, cake, whatever they had. Took it and came back with it, but they didn't give a dang about the law. The outlaw tribes, pretty much, they were in charge of their community, like the Crips.
Yeah.
The Crips. Go ahead. Could you go in on
See,
that?
we didn't start, the people that started disrespecting us in our community, we tolerated because we was able to negotiate the prices and Jew them down. That's what they used to call it. Right? You got to negotiate with the Jew. And he the one with the nasty attitude that teach all the foreigners that when you go in, you got to handle your niggers like this. Right? He's the one that's advising how to manage the slaves on the open plantation. But he's set up as a shopkeeper. So he can keep his ear to the street in case we decide that we want to get him off the land before we realize that the real ones that sent them out there look like us, but they ain't us. I ain't never want to shoot for the bottom. I always want to shoot for the top. Ain't no sense of taking out the whole army when you can take out the one that's causing the problem.
Right. We got about 30 minutes left. We'll take some from the crowd. We got a question here. It says, why we are seeing pale faces covering their face. I think they're talking about the Cincinnati thing with the pale faces out there. There's a lot of these events going on with pale faces, racist events, staged events.
Yeah, but they being staged by the Black Brotherhood of Spain, who came over here and became the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
Who passed it off to the pale faces over here. And then they brought up what they call the neo-Nazi doctrine from German niggas. Right. Wrote that. All of them changed their names, and that was allowed them to change their faces in the history books, in the whitewashing of history. That is not what Adolf Hitler looked like. He was a Charlie Chaplin actor.
Right.
He was trained by a guy named Rubles to play a theatrical performance of the then German dictator, the real Adolphus.
Hmm. Somebody
And
told you. Somebody told
because they wanted theater, they wanted the pale face in theater. This is being done by the 32-degree Scottish Rite double head eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They putting the pale faces in front of the camera, but they not telling you they imitating the people that's getting the movies made. All of the Adolf Hitler footage is scripted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The real Adolf Hitler was a black Nazi from an Aryan race that comes from a place called Nirvana.
It's dark skinned Aryans. Go ahead. The dark skinned
Yeah,
Aryans with gray hair.
right. And
Yeah.
this is what Adolphus was. And Adolf Hitler was the parody.
Go ahead. I heard this storyline. Come on, go ahead. I heard
It's
this.
the same way they do the Jesus story.
Yep.
But now they got a sister about to play Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway.
Wow.
They confessing that ISIS is Jesus without confessing it.
And they've been worshiping ISIS the whole time. The Pope, everybody.
And the only ones that knew was the Jesuits. The
Yep.
general, they thought Jesus was Jesus the Pantera, which was a whole different character from a whole different cultural influence and background.
Yep.
But they put the story together at the Nicene Council when they assembled the canon of the Bible from the works and the plays of Josephus Flavius, who was adapting his stories from the first century Christian philosopher named Origen. Origen was a metaphysician and alchemist back then, and then later on they called him a first century Christian philosopher contemporary with Christ.
Right. Right.
Right. So now we looking at the narrative playing out at the finale of the script.
Right.
In order to close the script, you have to round up the cast. Right? Then they're gonna do their final bow when they so-called expose the elites. You know, so they can bow out. Exit stage left. They ain't coming back.
Right. Like the like Uncle Sam on the Super Bowl ritual. Exit stage left.
Yeah, that's the American Corporation. That's the stage left.
How long do you think a United States corps got, being that Donald Trump is pretty much he's already getting in there, trying to move real fast at liquidating and trying to figure out where all the money's at so he can call all the assets. You think they got 4 years? I mean, they got 4 years.
No, they moved the celebration date from the day after Memorial Day this year to the 4th of July of 2026. So they needed more time. So he gonna be at breakneck speed up until the end.
Yeah, he working fast. He trying
Yeah,
to collect all the assets, trying to figure out where all the money's at. He going through the whole book. They going through the
that's what
whole.
you do when you close the corporation. You got to
Right.
take account of all assets.
That's right. That's what I told him. That's what we told him. We've been told him this, that Trump is coming to liquidate. He finna call in all assets.
Right.
And so
Because
people complaining right now about their tax. Trump holding people tax this year. If you got child tax credit, well, you know you file kids on your income tax. They holding most of everybody to April and the end of March, and people, black people going crazy right now, saying, "Man, I'm supposed to have been got my taxes back," and now Trump is calling to be hold for the trial. So it's a lot of stuff
well,
that
we don't remember when they closed the IRS because they didn't make it mainstream news. They mentioned it on the back page somewhere. IRS ordered to shut down.
Damn.
Right. That was like 2021.
Yeah, I think I seen it, and the girl, the lady that came out and said something about it, we ain't seen her since.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
black lady.
same with the corporation got to shut down too.
Uh-huh.
We sunk on January 6th, we sunk their battleship. We took us off the Admiralty and put us under the jurisdiction of the Republic. That's what the January 6th big deal was about. The law of the land was the flag with no fringes. The guy that was dressed as the shaman sat behind Pelosi's desk. You only have to occupy it for a couple of minutes.
Right.
He sat there about 10 minutes. That's occupied the ship.
Right.
We sank her battleship. In 2017, the British, ever since 1776, had to have a ship in the bay right there off DC to collect the birth certificates for the fraud and the enslavement of the people to be held in reprisal for the debt.
Makes sense.
When Trump made them leave, that's how he broke their jurisdictional stronghold.
Makes sense.
Now he can foreclose on the corporation, but he got so many dirty players, they need to buy some time. So they put Biden in.
So I think, you know what I think, Rod? I think that they were paying a lot of ransom money to people, because I heard that the fake, I heard that the people that's over in Jerusalem now saying that they're Jews, they threatened to tell us who we were to the United States corps if they didn't keep paying them. I heard that the $5 Indians threatened the U.S. corps to tell who we were if they didn't keep paying the extortion money. But now Trump's saying we don't want to pay you no more. Well, we don't want to pay no extortion money no more. You can go and tell them.
Because you heard what Trump said, because they look like the Indians, he look like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, right.
And these people, I don't know who they are, but they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians.
Right, right. I
All right.
pass for more Indian than them, is what Trump said.
So you got to understand the feudal ages of Europe, when they used to pillage the villages.
Uh-huh.
When they used to take prisoners of war, they set them up in those villages.
Uh-huh.
And this is where you get your Mongolians that came over as the slaves. When they show you the picture of the brother with the nappy hair and the dude with the straight hair, the dude with the straight hair was the runaway slave, not the dude with the nappy hair. He always been here.
Right.
Right. So some of them intermarried in with some of us. Right. Some of them went on in the Trail of Tears and replaced us. And that's why they put him on the reserves and set him on the reservation. Just in case we don't remember who he is, they got somebody that they can replace us with in order for them to divvy up our birthright among themselves without us reaping any benefits. I just didn't think that we should have to endure that BS.
Right. I don't know Justin Trubden. I can't even say his last name. And what's up with the pickup? I got tapes out on the pickups. But that guy, I don't know his name. I don't know this guy.
Justin Trudeau was a dude that came up. He was a genius kid. He came up as an entrepreneur, and he was selling stuff on infomercials. He made cures they don't want you to know about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they locked him up, gave him, I think, 5 years. And
brother?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I think that's who they talking about, Justin Trudeau.
Check him out. You might check him out.
Or no, that might be the Prime Minister of Canada, I think.
Because I know that Trump in that video, he just said that he talking about renaming Canada and Mexico. He said we paying them everything. We might well change the name of the country. But the thing is, truth of the matter, that land was a part of this land. That they trying to keep us under the impression that land is Mexico is separate from this land. It's the same.
They're talking about the Prime Minister.
Island, huh?
Yeah, they're talking about the Prime Minister of Canada.
Okay.
So the land is broke up in provinces. Just like Canada is broke up into royal provinces, Quebec, Alberta, like that. The same way that the states is broke up. Each territory had a different set of tribal rules governing it, and the tribes from that area had similar tribal practices to, be able to work in harmony together.
Mm-hmm.
So now when we coming back out of it, it's not going to look the same way it did before we went into it, because they changed all of the lines. They changed the way that we separated land and people. Yeah, but Justin Trudeau is the president of Canada. His ass gonna be locked up. He gonna be get mode if he ain't already, because he already been replaced with actor,
Right.
with central casting,
Right.
for a couple years now. So, and a lot of the people in Canada recognized it too, because they were saying something about it, like that don't look like him.
That came Washington D.C. and created their own government and
All of
made
their fans is in the George Washington Masonic Memorial display.
bumped them.
Go look at the fans. They know whose they is. You can do the research on the fans. They're gonna tell you who fans it is. All of the fans is the George Washington Masonic Memorial. Those was the ones that challenged us to the Conjure Wars.
And I'm trying to figure out, did we give them that or did they come with it? Because it's like they want that these guys came over here. We already had the mounds.
Well, we've been doing the craft longer than they have, but they don't know that. They thought we was just savage primitives when it came to the crafts. So then they tried to villainize the ones of us that practice and kill off the priestesses and call it the witch hunts.
Yeah, voodoo and
Mhm.
Salem witch projects. The
Right.
Salem witch.
And then now they hunting down the medicine men, trying to steal this knowledge so they can set up their pharmacia hospitals.
Yeah, Dr. Savy, all etc.
Yeah.
Which
they strategies have not changed. They repeatedly doing the same thing over and over. If you watch the pattern, it's eventually going to reveal who's behind the pattern.
Right.
When did the pattern start? What's the interrupt? Because soon as you interrupt the pattern, you break the paradigm. And this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to break the paradigm. And the more the paradigm break, the more Trump looked like one of them cartoons. Running around trying to keep up.
Damn sure right. It's a lot of lies just around in what Columbus, that Christopher Columbus whole thing. Like we heard that he was a brother helped him sail. We heard
he was a Moor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Christopher Columbus was a Moor. And Pietro del Negro was the navigator. He was classified as a blackamoor.
Yeah.
That means he was blue-black.
Right, yeah, dark nigga.
Right. And Christopher Columbus was just classified as a Moor. He was a Spanish Moor.
Uh-huh.
So he was swarthy, but he wasn't dark.
Yeah.
Right. So we would call him today he was a high yellow nigga.
Right. Barack Obama.
Yeah,
even high yellow than him. Now let me ask you, they said that Columbus is the one that came to America and brought the corn over to Africa. Now, why is I'm seeing Africans thousands of years with corn before Christopher Columbus?
They got to make an excuse for the corn to originate over here and be in ancient cultures. They was trying to cover all that up by giving a backstory of contributions to a thief.
Yeah.
Right? we know that the Anunnaki was growing corn in Sumer
Yeah.
because they got it painted on the walls.
Right.
But we know corn originated over here with Tahuti out of the monkey village,
Right.
right? Botany, where he was growing the different vegetables
Right.
to form the dietary base of the same food stock that the humans was made from, the
Right.
carbon of corn. So corn became the celebratory food of all of the indigenous cultures, North and South America.
Right. And the rituals and things. Yep. Masons do it in their rituals. Yeah.
Yeah, there's prosperity,
Mhm.
abundance. The more corn we grow, corn is a ritual food for the tribes,
Go ahead.
especially when you start going to the Southwest. But notice it's primarily desert.
Go ahead.
They have to trade cactus for corn from the desert where the grass meet the desert at. Trading posts. And then they go back and use the stuff they got and mix the corn and make their dishes.
That makes sense.
You got stuff that grow in the desert, but it won't grow in regular soil. It's not conducive for its habitat.
Right.
Right. But that doggone cactus is durable. That sucker grow in the wintertime.
And you can drink a lot. You can get water out of cactus. Hey, so you thinking that it's a lot of foods that they saying that's bad for us now that we were eating thousands of years, and then all of a sudden now they saying that okay, like so, like I just to a lot of herbalists. They talk about corn is acidic, corn is bad, it's don't break down into your intestines. But then why did we design it? And why were we eating it thousands of years and never had any problems? Then all of a sudden now we got problems out of eating corn. We was eating corn thousands of years.
You know, remember, they don't want us to eat bison, they want us to eat beef.
Yeah.
Right? Beef not good for us either.
Go ahead.
But it tastes good.
Yeah.
The taste remind us of bison.
Yeah.
And all everything else, our uncles down south gonna figure out how to cook it.
Right.
The pit masters.
Right.
The Pitman clan.
Right.
Right? They know how to cook with the fire in the hole.
Right.
This all cultural.
Yeah.
So they if you eat your cultural diet, it'll tune your frequency in